Happy Monday, everyone. Carmen Broxma here with Choose Joy with Carmen. And in today's video, we're going to be doing another of my Mo Joy Monday. And we're going to continue on with Christmas in July, since we're still in July. And I wanted to show you the paper packs that I decided to use. So this was one of the returning favorites, the Painted Christmas. And I decided I wanted to use this paper right here that's in this paper pack. And I'm glad it came back because I really like it. Then we're going to be using the Sweetest Christmas. And this is new in the mini catalog. And I'm going to use this paper here. And so what I did, let me pull this out. So because the dies in the set, because I'm going to be using the sweet candy canes. So the dies that are in the set, they can cut out these candy canes. But it's really hard because you're like going, okay, if I cut it down the middle, I'm going to cut off some. So I had to take my paper snips and I kind of had to go around the candy cane I wanted to die cut out because you can't stick this entire piece into your die cutting machine. So once I did that, I went ahead and ran it through and die cut the one I wanted out. And then I had the little pieces here on the left, and I just kind of didn't want to waste that, so I used that for the inside of my card. So we're going to be using really not a whole lot out of here. I didn't stamp the candy canes. I just used the dies, and we're going to be using this mistletoe here, the sentiment, candy cane wishes, and mistletoe kisses. And then on the inside of the card, we're using wishing you lots of love, joy, and happiness this Christmas season and always. So that's what we're using for that. And the colors, because the paper had, the candy canes have the, I think it was garden green and the sweet sorbet. And I think it had, let me look. So I always try to get my colors based on what's in here. So it's garden green, pool party, real red, and sweet sorbet. So it has both real red and sweet sorbet, but I wanted to use the sweet sorbet because I believe that this is the real red, the darker one, and the one that's in the candy cane that I'm using is the sweet sorbet. And then in that other paper, I'm using the soft succulent. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Oh, did I show you the other paper that I'm using? Let me grab that. I'm also using this paper that's in that specialty paper that's in the mini catalog. But this one is the one with the kind of felty stuff, not the you know, like the foil looking one. This is the other one. So we're going to be using that as well on the card today. So the card base is going to be garden green. And then I cut down my designer paper. We're going to go ahead and that's going to be our base there. And then I cut down a matting of the sweet sorbet and the garden green, and we're going to be putting that on here like that. But we're first going to go ahead and put that paper, that specialty paper, on here. And because this is going to be see-through, we got to get creative, right, on how we're going to adhere that. So what I'm going to be doing, and I've already die cut out the candy cane. So what I think we'll do first is kind of figure out how we're going to get that vellum attached. So I think the easiest way to do that is kind of, because I am going to have a little strip right here of the garden green, because it really bothers me to have it just end like that. I kind of feel like I need to finish it off. So I'm going to put a little strip of that there. But then I went ahead and I love my, the double oval punch. This is one of my favorites. And so we're not going to be using this part up here. We're just using this down here. So what we need to do is get our sentiment ready. So let's go ahead and bring in a piece of, and this is probably going to be too big, but I just want to show you what I did because I already have the stuff die cut and ready to go. I just want to show you. So I wanted two colors on my sentiment. So the best way to do that is to use your Stampin' Write markers. So I'm going to bring in my Sweet Sorbet, and I'm going to use the brush end type, brush end. And what I do is I color the part that I want in that color. And then I go ahead and color the other part. And then I kind of huff on it so that it'll kind of re-moisten it. But with our humidity, and I think it's raining outside, when it's humid, it really stays wet longer. But just for good measures, I'll huff on it. And we'll go ahead and stamp that. Now, I would probably have a thinner strip because when you go to put this in, if I put it in, I'm going to be punching out a white of that upper part. But this is just to get us going here. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that down. And then there you go. You have the two colors. And I love that look. Okay, then here was the other thing that was when I was designing this card. So let me just show you. I pulled out my garden green ink pad, and because it is so humid, this is kind of like a distinctive stamp, so let me show you really close. So when you look at that, see, it's kind of got different shadings and stuff like that. So when you stamp it, it's supposed to have that shading look. But because my ink pad was so juicy, I would ink it up and see how it pulls in there. And I think what happens is that pulling around there, that ink, when I go to stamp it down, it kind of lost. It kind of lost something with, that distinctive part of it. Let me do it on the cardstock so I can show you closer. So, see, it kind of lost something. It kind of just got all blurry there. So one of the tricks that you can do is you can take a spoon or a credit card or something, and you can try to move that ink around on your ink pad so that you can get a lot of it off, so that it's kind of more of a drier ink pad. But I didn't want to do that, so I decided to just color it with my marker again. So let me just go ahead and clean that off pretty good so that I can bring in my marker, and then I just kind of, I color on the side of the marker. So I don't color point down. I do the side of it. And then I go and color the whole image. And I don't do it really dark. And then now when we go stamp it over here, it's going to look different. And I like this look better. I feel like it looks more like it's supposed to look. So what I did is I went ahead and stamped 3 of them. But the trick that I did first, and I thought I first did it like this and didn't like it. So what I did was, because this designer paper right here, if you notice, it's kind of got like a little blending in the back there. So I brought in my blending brush and pulled out my soft succulent ink, and I went ahead and did some blending on my, and you could do this afterwards. Like, let's say you forget this step, you could really do this afterwards. But either way, I think it'd be easier to do it first so that you don't have to try to blend that little piece of die cut. I mean, I could go down here and do it this way, right on top of that other one. So whatever works for you, you can salvage it either way. So then what happened after I did that, then I went ahead and did the same thing, inked up my stamp and stamped it right over that blended area. And I will show you the result of that. And I really liked that look. I think it took away some of that starkness from the white. So I ended up with this look. See how they're just, let's see if I could get that in the camera better without covering it up with my fingers. But I really like that look better. I don't know if you can see it very well. So I have 3 of the mistletoes, and then I have my sentiment that I've already punched out. And then I punched out 2 of the garden green and sweet sorbet cardstock also. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the circle part and kind of put it at the top here where to match the sweet sorbet letters, and then I'm going to take the garden green toward the bottom and adhere that way. So then that way you kind of have the 2 colors also on your matting. Now it doesn't mat all the way around, but I still like that look a lot. So that's what I'm going to do with that. So then what we'll do is go back to our thing here, and we're going to put the vellum on here. So I know I'm going to have a strip up here. So then I'm going to get my sentiment, which is going to go down here in this area. So this is why I kind of bring my things in, how I'm going to lay them on the card, and then I determine kind of where I'm going to put my sentiment. So then that way I can go ahead and turn this over, kind of holding that in place, and it kind of gives me a guide on where I could put adhesive. So for this, I think I'm going to use liquid glue because it's going to be really hard to put it up here for that little area. So I'm going to use some liquid, and I'm just going to kind of put that right behind there, and then I know for sure it's not going to be seen. It's going to be covered up. Then up here, I know I'm going to have that little strip, so I can go ahead and put liquid glue here in a little strip area, because I know that's going to be covered up. So then I can go ahead and put this down over my cardstock and not worry that those areas are going to be visible after it dries. Because, you know, after it dries, you're going to be able to see right through that. And we don't want to look at that, right? So that's the way you're going to get that vellum on your strip there. And then I'm going to go ahead and adhere all this together. And I'm going to adhere these to the back of my sentiment, and I'm going to adhere this to the top here, and then I will come back and we will finish up the card. So see you in a minute. Okay, I'm back and have all this put together, and just for the sake of time I went ahead and did the inside as well. And like I told you earlier, I had that little piece left over from where I had cut out that designer paper so that I could cut out my candy cane. But this is the opposite side. see, that's the opposite side of that paper, but I thought it went really nicely in there. And then I stamped my sentiment in the Sweet Sorbet because I like to be able to see the colors, and now we've got plenty of green on here, and so I wanted a little bit of that Sweet Sorbet on the inside, the reddish color. And because my sentiment says candy cane wishes, mistletoe kisses, it's talking about wishes, so that's why I chose the sentiment, wishing you lots of love, joy, and happiness this Christmas season and always. Because if you're sending them candy cane wishes, then I wanted the sentiment to reflect wishes. So now let's go ahead and work on our little candy cane. So I have my 3 little mistletoes here, and I kind of want to have them be, you know, kind of in this general area, kind of on the candy cane. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put a little bit of adhesive on the back of each of these, and I probably should put my reading glasses on because I cannot see the glue on the white. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of decide where I want my mistletoe bunches to be. So I'm going to put one there. Oops. See, this is why I mean, I like the liquid glue because you can move it around, but then when it moves, it gets all over the place. So probably what I should have done is put it on one of the leaves. So I think I'll do that. I'll try to focus more on the leaf. So let's get our next one on here. And since there's already glue kind of stuck on there from my mess that I did. And then I think I am going to pop this one up. I think that'll be cute. So let's go ahead and get our Stampin' Dimensionals. I have them here somewhere. Here they are, hidden underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and put a Stampin' Dimensional on the back here. I probably should have pulled out my minis. If you feel that it's too big, you can always cut them in half if you don't have any of the minis available. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of lay that right there. So now I have like a little bundle of mistletoe. And then crazy me, you know, I was like, do I even know what mistletoe looks like? I mean, we see it all the time, but I wanted to kind of get a realistic look of one. So I went and Googled mistletoe, real mistletoe. And I noticed that they all had like these little white balls on them. And so I found these opal rounds, and I thought, this might be pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is, I think this will be the right amount of roundness that looks, and if you go look at a real mistletoe, you'll see what I'm talking about. I think that is going to be perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on the card with some Stampin' Dimensionals, and those two got stuck together. And then we can go ahead and add our embellishments, and we can be done with this card. Okay, I think I'm going to put another one there. So let me get the release paper off the back. And then I can go ahead and get this on the card. Okay, so let's put that, I guess, right about there, because I want to leave room for my sentiment at the bottom. And I think what's so cool about it. And I think that's another reason why I wanted that green strip there. Kind of ties it all in together, right? The green is kind of in that area. So there's a method to my madness. So now let's pull in the sentiment that I put together with the two colors of the, um, matting or whatever you want to call it. I like that a lot. And let's go ahead and get some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of that one. I'm just going to put 2 on this. And see, now you won't be able to see that little messy part there where we put the glue, because we planned ahead, right? We put that glue where we knew that this sentiment was going to be. So there we go. There's that. I just love that. Okay, now for the fun. Let's put some embellishments on, and I like to do things in 3s. So it looks like these have various sizes, but really not. I think it's just the way they were poured or however they created them. So I'm just going to grab 3 of them and decide, oops, that one came off I'm going to put one, wow, now it's stuck to my finger. I'm going to put one kind of right over that, end of that stem that was there. So I'm going to put one there, and we need 2 more. I'm going to grab that one and maybe put another one right there. And then another one right there. So now we have those 3 like little the gems right there, or whatever they're called, I forgot, but I just think that's really cute. And there is the card. I hope you enjoyed that today. It was a lot of fun creating and experimenting with. And so if you are loving these videos and getting inspired at all, I would really appreciate it if you will share my videos, give me a thumbs up, and thank you so much for all you who have subscribed to my channel. You are such a blessing to me. If you're new to my channel and this is something that you've been enjoying or that you enjoyed today, you obviously haven't been enjoying it if you're new. But if you enjoyed today's card and you want to see more, subscribe to my channel. That is always helpful as well. Alrighty, there you go. I hope you like that. I thought it was fun. Let's see a little close up there. And then we go to the inside. There you go. Alrighty, you guys all have a great week. Hope you have some time for crafting. And we will see you again next Monday for another episode of my Mojo Monday. Have a great one, everyone. Bye-bye.